Hey guys, welcome back. We're picking back up here with the 74 MT250. If you watched the first video, you'll see that I got it running, which was the main goal, just to kind of get it going and eventually get it outside here. I'll probably try to get it outside in this video to let it run longer to see how bad the possible crank seals that need replaced are. So we're going to do that. Still working on the tank. Got some petcock rebuild parts that came in and trying to fit this together. I think some of these seals that came with it are not the correct size, so still trying to sort through that. I'm dealing with the vendor online to see if he can send me the seal for this bowl here. The one I got is just a little bit too small. Kind of fits right down in there like it shouldn't do that. And I'm waiting for the screen that's supposed to be in here. When I opened this up originally, it just had this little washer that somebody put in here, and then they put the an O-ring over top of that, and then the bowl over top of that. So trying to get that back to how it should be with the screen and the correct O-ring. But the valve, petcock valve seal, whatever you want to call it, is the correct one. So that's going to work, and all this stuff cleaned up pretty well. So just a few more things. The inside of the tank too, cleaned up somewhat. It's still not perfect. I might have to put some metal rescue, something a little stronger than vinegar in there. Let me get a light here and I'll show you. So there's still some rust in there. So when I put my finger down in there, I can kind of flake some more off. So I'm going to probably do a second soak on that. But I at least have the auxiliary fuel tank still hooked up. Also charging up the battery that was in the bike. When I pulled that off, it actually had a couple volts to it still. So I filled up the battery acid there. And I'm going to try to charge it up and see if I can get a full 6 volts out of it. And got a couple things to button up too with like the rear brakes. This is kind of sticking. So before I try to ride it, I want to get that straightened out. This pedal here seems a little bit messed up. I'm not sure what I'm missing here, but it looks like maybe a spacer or something's gone. This doesn't really spring back because the cables probably needs lubed up, and the arm here is probably all gummed up too, so I'll get that off. Front tire's flat. My favorite thing to do in the whole world is change tires, so I gotta do that, or change tubes, and probably tires too. As you can see, this is pretty dry rotten. Not sure I want to go flying down the road with tires like that on there, but we'll see. Maybe just up and down the road here. Won't go too far. So this came in the mail too, the ignition bracket that goes to the frame right here. I just got to find some nuts and bolts that'll fit that. Get these wires routed up through there a little better. And not really worried about turn signals and stuff just yet, but these are going to be for the flashers, or it goes to the flasher relay, which should be right here, I believe. Missing that, and a couple of these go to the brake switch in the back, and also the turn signals too. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is get it outside and let it run a little longer. Make sure that I can get it to idle, and we'll see how bad she smokes. So let's get it outside and see what it does. All right, we're outside. Got the IV hooked up to the bike. Try to get this thing fired up, and we'll let it run for a while and see what kind of smoke we get out of it. the idle kind of hangs up there when you rev it. So I'm thinking it might be sucking air maybe from this side. I'm gonna spray some brake clean around here, see if it's sucking air there maybe. Nope. Most likely not gonna hear. These idles though, just had a little bit of hanging after the throttle's applied. I don't like that. Yeah, she's kind of leaning out there. I could tell idle's climbing, and it hangs up there too. So, any risk of running it too lean for too long, I'm just gonna shut her down, and we'll pull these side covers off and get a look. All right, we got the bike inside, getting ready to tear into the side covers here. First, I'm gonna drain the oil, and once this comes off, that way I'm not gonna make a big mess. But I think I'm gonna start on the other side and get the flywheel off, and we'll start there first and see how she looks. It looks like the drain plug is right here, and my guess is that's a 17, so let me get a socket on that. It's like pretty clean oil in there. I got the bike up on the jack here. Just gonna get my impact screwdriver. Start taking these screws out of here, get this side cover off, and get a look at that flywheel. I hope I have a flywheel puller for this. I guess I'm gonna find out. So the first bike I've worked on in a long time, it's actually have the screws weren't all messed up on the heads and rounded off. Kind of nice. Screwdriver actually bites into it. Not sure if these are all going to be different sizes, so I'm going to try to keep track of this. That is super clean in there from what I can see. Even the flywheel itself is super clean. So I'm wondering if that was replaced at one point. Usually it's all cruddy. Some of the other bikes I've done on the channel here, it's been rusty and full of dirt, and this one looks very clean. Points look clean. So I'm gonna get a impact gun on this. We'll pull this off, and we'll get to the stator, pull the stator off, and hopefully be able to get that crank seal out easy. So I pulled the bike off of the bike stand, put it on its side here, and got some lubrication down in between the flywheel and the crankshaft here, just to try to lubricate that a little bit so when I pull it off, it'll come off easy. I was also kind of delayed. I had to wait for another puller to come in. I ended up getting this Motion Pro, the M20 by 1.5 pitch, because the original one I got was this Bike Master. It's apparently the same size and thread pitch, but it will not thread on here. So I ordered this one up after some people online recommended the Motion Pro one, which I should have done to begin with, because you could see the it's a lot more shallow in here, and you get more thread bite on the flywheel instead of this one. Like if this did thread, and you're only getting a couple threads in there before it hits the shaft. So I'm gonna pop this one on, get the impact gun. This one actually threads in nice and easy. The other one I couldn't even get a couple threads started by hand, and I didn't want to mess the threads up, so I just waited until this one came in. So let me get the impact gun on that, and hopefully this pops it right off. Look at that. Came right off. Sweet. So I'm looking for reference marks here, so when I put this back together, it looks like I got this one up here that's pointing to that marker. And I don't think you could put this on wrong, so I guess I'll take this plate off and see if we can get to that seal. Doing my best, trying not to hit these coils. Comparing the seal kit to that, I'm going to guess it's this one here. I think that's for the clutch side. And these are for the side covers, shifter, lever, kickstarter, all that stuff for the other ones here. So I'm thinking it's this one. Let me open it up. We'll size it up. This one might be the other one for the other side. Let's see what this one looks like. That one looks more like it. Okay. All right, I gotta figure out how to get this out of here. So I'm getting ready here to drill. I just put a little punch mark here, and I'm gonna do it on the other side too, try to get on either end. And put a small hole there so I can get one of these screws down in there. And grab hold of that once it's screwed in there, and then pull up. Try to pry this out of here. So let's see how this goes. got a magnet here to try to pick up as many shavings as possible so I don't wreck that bearing that's in there. So there's one. Work this in there now. Making a little bit of progress here. This thing's fighting, of course. So I ended up drilling 4 total holes on kind of on all sides here and prying up. I'm getting the metal here to bend up a little bit, so I'm hoping once this bends out, it'll kind of take pressure off the outer edge and it'll eventually just give way. Well, still drilling holes, still trying to pry up on it here. It's slowly bending up. I'm putting heat to it, trying to get that rubber around the outer edge to loosen up a little bit, but I don't know why I didn't do this to begin with, but I have some grease on the end of the bit so I catch all the shavings, most of the shavings at least, and just kind of making my way around the rest of the seal, and hopefully this thing comes off soon because this is getting old. I wanted to show you close up this thing, how bad it's fighting me here. I'm about an hour into this, and I'm making a little bit of progress on this side right here. You can kind of see the seal, the lip starting to come up, surface right here, it's starting to come up. So I'm gonna keep going around. I think, like I said, I'm gonna try to drill right here next, and just keep trying on this one side, because once it breaks free on the one side, usually the rest follows. All right, I think it's about to break loose here, so let's see if my hockey stick and hammer pry trick will work here. Oh, yeah. There it is. Trying to get these shavings here. All right, well, I'm gonna get this cleaned up a little bit better. Try to get a magnet down there just in case there's any metal shavings from the old seal from drilling. I didn't drill through the bottom part, so some of it still may have gotten down in there if there was any shavings, but it looks pretty clean. I'm just gonna get like I said, get a small magnet, clean up the rest of that, and here's the new seal going in. Whoops. So once we get it cleaned up, we'll get this lubed up, and then I'll get a piece of PVC pipe that fits on the outside of this and just pop that into place. All right, getting ready to put the new seal in. I got this cleaned out as much as I could, and I got a real thin coating of grease on the inside of that. So I'm gonna put a coat on the seal itself right here, and then we'll slip it on. Probably put some on the crankshaft itself. Slip this on, and then I got a piece of PVC pipe that will fit this, just like that. I should be able to just lightly pound it into place until it's flush with the top here, and we should be good to go. Okay, I kind of got that started in there. So I'm going to hit the rest of the way through with a pipe. See if I got the flat side here. Well, guys, looking it up, I was kind of concerned that this was sitting so low in there, and apparently on this bike you have to tap it in flush with this top part. So I have to pull this back out and ruin this seal, unfortunately. Get another one ordered up, and when I tap it in, I'll just make sure that I'm flush across the top here. So, rookie mistake. And because of that rookie mistake, here is the brand new seal I had to destroy to get out. And once I get the new one, which I'm waiting on from eBay, I'll pop it in and make sure I go flush with the top there. Other ones that I've done, I've just popped them in until they press down into their spot. This one, of course, is an oddball one. It doesn't have a seat. You kind of have to just push it in until it's flush with the case. So now that I know that, I'll get the new one in there and hopefully won't have to pull it back out. But I think what I'm gonna do is, instead of trying to do them both at the same time, because the right side crank seal requires you to split the motor, I'm just gonna pop the new one in once I get it on the left side here, start it back up and see how bad it smokes still. I mean, I know this side doesn't really deal with the oil getting in there, but it was hanging on idle, and it seemed like it was running lean. So I sprayed stuff around here, brake clean, to see if the RPMs increased, which they didn't. So hopefully putting a new seal in here will help that. And after thinking about it a little bit, this bike still has some oil left over in the injection. And I also mixed the pre-mix that I was running it on to 32:1 if it was using oil injection and the premix that I had. So that might account to some of that smoke that we had. I'm not saying it's gonna cure that altogether if I just run the oil injection, but I figured since it's easier to just check that instead of splitting the motor, because I got to split the motor to do the right crank seal, figured I'd pop in the new one on the left side and start it back up, see how bad it smokes, and then make the decision there. I'm probably gonna have to end up splitting it, because usually when one goes bad, the other one's bad too. But we'll see, we'll give it a try. But I wanted to cut the video off there before it drug on too long. Really, there's not much else I could do with it. I can't really ride it. I still got that rear brake to deal with, and I figured once we just get the crank seal in, we'll fire it back up and I can at least putt around the road, maybe even with the auxiliary tank. So I'm still trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with the other fuel tank, or with the fuel tank here. It's gonna have to use some metal rescue in there, I think. I did end up getting the rest of the fuel petcock parts that I needed. So got the screen and the correct O-ring. So really just waiting on that crank seal to come in, and I'm gonna be soaking this fuel tank here with the metal rescue, I think. And by the time all that's said and done, I should have this back on the bike. Maybe I can go for a ride. We'll see how it runs after that seal's in, see if that lean condition's still there. And we'll see, hopefully maybe it doesn't smoke as much if I don't put premix in, just run the oil injection and see how it goes. So thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you in the next one.